Hey everybody, Jeremy from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going to be going through Red Gohan review. So this is the third superheroes deck for Gohan or Piccolo, and of course I've made it because I love them. So to start with, we've got a lead card. Just got when it attacks, you draw one, and then for the Awakened, if you're on 4 or less, or if your opponent has a red pan superhero in play, you draw 2 and then go down to 6 and flip it over. You place a pan on their field, so that's not an issue. And then on the Awakened side, you've got Auto once per turn. When your red Gohan or Piccolo attacks, you draw 1 card. So it does mean itself or any of your battle cards. At the end of your turn, choose one of your red Piccolos and switch it to active mode. All the Piccolos have blocker, so the idea is that you can swing them, get them back, block, and do various effects. Let's go Auto once per turn. When your Piccolo Power Beyond Awakening activates a block skill or is moved from battle area by an opponent's skill, so if they minus it to death or whatever, or they bounce it, or you block. So once this blocks or dies or leaves, you activate the skill at the end of the turn. You add until you have 4 in your life, and then you play a red Gohan Superhero Z Leader from your Z deck on top of this card. So you just get to Z Awaken by Piccolo, blocking or dying in some way. Going into Z deck, we'll start with the Z Leader. So we have Gohan Awakening to Beast. So of course it's Beast time. It's got 20k double strike, costs 2 ZNG, and you can Z Awaken it by paying 2 red if you're on 3 or less onto your Gohan Leader. But you're just going to aim to do the auto with it, so not really a concern. It's got 3 autos. So the first being, if you place the Z energy into your drop, when this is placed in the lead area, you place up to 1 Special Beam Cannon Inherited Power from your Z deck in the battle area. So you get to play one of these out by sending the Z energy. When he attacks, you draw, and then at the end of your turn, you choose all of your red Piccolos and switch them to active mode. So on the normal leader you get 1 back, on this you get all of them back. So if you swarm to board the Piccolos, at the end of your turn you're going to get a bunch of blockers back. Really useful. So next we have 3 copies of Battle of Red Ribbon Army. So this is like the first card going to from the Z deck. It's a 1/1 cost. Got alternate 1 if the leader is red Gohan and you have 2 or more energy. When it's placed in battle area, you play a Gohan All Out Explosion from your deck. So you play this one from your deck, and then you place a red pan with an energy cost of 1 from your deck on your opponent's side of the field, then shuffle your deck. So that's how you get the pan in play to do all your other skills, is you use this, play a Gohan, give them a pan. They can't do anything to the pan because of its permanent, so then you just get to do all your effects. And then it's secondary auto by placing a card from your hand at the bottom of the deck and removing this card from the game. When you play your Piccolo bestowed power, so your 4 cost Piccolo, you search your deck for your 5 cost Piccolo and then shuffle your deck. So you just play the 4 cost, trade card from your hand with the 5 cost, and there you go. Next we got 2 copies of the Special Beam Cannon. So this has got active battle, paying 1 red. When your red Gohan is attacking, you remove this card from the game, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 35 or less power, ignore barrier, KO it. Then you can either choose one of your red Gohan Z leaders, it gets 20k for the battle, then remove it from the game at the end of the turn. So when you swing with your leader, you can make it a 40k double, and then at the end of the turn you go back down to your normal leader. Or you choose a red Gohan with an original power of 30 or more and give it 15 double for the battle. So this one, because it's your only target. So it's a really useful card. It's a good amount of pressure because if your opponent doesn't negate, you can then just be like, right, what's my benefit here? And then the last card in the Z deck is a copy of Cell Max. So, cost free, 2 Z energy, 20k, barrier blocker. When it attacks, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus it by 15. And also once per turn, if it's your turn, when one of your card's skills reduces a card's power to 0 or less, switch this card to active mode. So it's just a case of you swing this, target something that's 15 or less, minus it, get it back, and then you have a 20k blocker ready to go. I don't normally go into this, it's more just like a if I need to, but it's just handy to have because it's a minusing blocker. So, but like I said, I don't really go into it. Starting with the X cards from the main deck, we've got 2 copies of Beerus Ball. So for these red, you have life 4 or less, battle card being played is 15 or less, you place it nearest drop, then you give your leader 5 for the turn. And then you would be able to play it by taking a life, but you need a multicolour energy to do that, which we don't do. So it's just there as a bit of a flood stopper. And then we've got 2 copies of King Vegeta's Imposing Presence. So it's just a really useful one for your mono red Saiyan leaders. You choose the attacker card, ignore barrier, it gets minus 10 for the turn, and then your opponent can't attack with a card unless they minus it by 5. But you can't play any more copies for the turn, which is fine because it'd be kind of busted if you could. And then if you're on field less, you can activate it by discarding a card. So it's a nice kind of free play negate that just slows down attacks and kind of forces less power on your opponent, so they have to think more about what they're doing. We've got 3 copies of Testing the Opposition. So it's our blocker negate, you negate, play a Cyberman blocker for the turn, and then if you're on 5 or less you can rep a life to play it. So that's why we can't go for 3 of these, because when we hit 5 it's like, okay, can afford to start doing that. We've got Piccolo blockers, we can make Cybermen blockers, and you can actually combo the Cybermen, which is really useful. And our last X card per deck is 2 copies of Focus Barrage. So it's got a permanent of, for each battle card with superhero in its character name, you reduce the cost by 1. And then it's got active main limit 1, if you're red Gohan, draw a card, minus card by 30k. So it's just a way of being like, okay, I draw, kill that, end of. So next we've got the battle cards, and start with, we've got our only 1-drops for the deck, which are our pans. So you've got Determined Young Girl and Glimpse of Strength. So this one is a top 5 searcher for a superhero of cost 5 or less. This one just draws a card when you play it from hand. And then they both have a permanent of, you can only attack or use this card in a combo if you're a red Gohan superhero. So you place this on your opponent's board, it just sits there until you remove it, or they use a skill to minus one of their own cards, which isn't really a thing. If you're in a mirror match, then it really doesn't matter, you just play them out of the field, just like, yeah, screw it, I don't even care about playing onto your field because it doesn't do anything. But yeah, that's how you get your effects. You target this one with the red ribbon Z X card, you just go, you know what, have this one, it's not doing anything for you, and it's definitely not doing much for me, it's just a draw card. And if you're going to give it 1, don't give up your searcher, if you can help it. Our 2 costs for the deck is our super combos, so we've got 2 copies of Raditz and 2 copies of Videl. So Videl is just 4 less, draw a card with the flat 10k, she's searchable, and then Raditz is the 4 less, put 1 back, draw 2, gain 10. So it's worth just having a split on these because you can search Videl, use it early on if you just need a free 10k. When you're on 4 less, that's when you focus on Raditz a bit more. Plus he's not searchable, so. Our 3 costs for the deck, there's actually quite a few. Start with, we've got a singular copy of Kettle. So it's 15k blocker, counterplay. If the card is 20 power or less, place it in drop, play this out. Bond free, you reduce this cost by 1 in your hand. And then when he's played, you choose one of your opponent's cards and minus it by 10 for the turn. So it's basically a denial of hope, but that can actually do stuff. Instead of just being like, yeah, stop. It's the only reason I run it. We've got 4 copies of Piccolo with New Student. So, blocker 10k. When he attacks, you use a red Saiyan Earthling, both mono red, with 5k power from the drop in a combo with skills negated. So, he just basically gives you a free Z charge. And he's got active main at 1. If your opponent has a red pan in play, you can play this from your hand. So, all the Piccolos and Gohans kind of have that skill, but it's very energy dependent. This Piccolo is just as long as there's pan on field. So it's a lot easier to play. And then we've got the Gohan, All Out Explosion. He's got Deflect Unique Barrier, 15k. Auto, when he's played, choose one of his opponent's battle cards for 15 or less and KO it. You can KO pan, just don't target it. If it's the only option, don't target it. Don't be stupid. And he's got active main. If your opponent has a red pan in play, he plays from hand. So, but most of the time you're going to play him out using Battle of Red Ribbon. So we've got our 4 costs. So there's 4 copies of Piccolo Bestowed Power. So he's got 15k blocker. When he's played, you choose one of his opponent's battle cards, minus it by 20k. And then active main at 1, paying red. If you have 3 or more energy and your opponent has a pan in play, play this card from your hand. So again, pans in play, you play this out, you do the auto. There is another way to play him out, which is really useful. It's our next card, which shows 4 copies of, so we've got Gohan, Ultimate Power of Legend. It's got 20k EX Evolve by paying a red onto your free cost Gohan, so this one. And it's got alternate 1. If your opponent has 2 or more energy, when this is played, you draw 1, switch him to active mode, then you play the Bestowed Power Piccolo with its skills negated for the turn. So it just lets you get 1 from the deck instead of having to play 1 from your hand. So for 1 energy, you can have 2 cards and draw a card. And the last 4 cost is a copy of Topo. So just a 20k counter attack, discard a card, negate the attack, play him out. During your opponent's turn, you reduce him by 2, so it becomes 2 cost. And during your opponent's turn, when you play it, they can't attack unless they discard 2. So, very useful, like Floodgate. Next we have our 5 cost in the deck, which is the Piccolo Power Beyond Awakening. So, this is the one that ties in with our leader's auto to go into your Z leader. He's got blocker, 20k EX Evolve by paying 1 red onto a red Piccolo, cost of 4. So this guy, when he's played, you draw a card, switch him to active, and he gains 5k for the turn. And then he's got active main. If you have Gohan Beast Draw in play, so our boss, and you switch him to rest mode, your opponent can't activate blocker for the turn. So if they've got a blocker already on the field, and you know they're going to likely use a blocker negate, but right, well, switch Piccolo to rest mode, swing to Gohan. If they play their blocker negate, they just get a 5k combo instead of a blocker. Unless it's blue, then they just get a thing on the board that they can't do anything with. And then, of course, when you play them, you can just have that extra bit of pressure for the turn. Our next card is our 6 cost, which is Gohan and Pan, Father-Daughter, which we've only got 3 copies of because it doesn't usually see play. So you've got blocker for 24k, got active battle at 1, pay 1 red. If the leader is red Gohan and you choose one of yours or your opponent's red pans with an energy cost of 1 and return it to the hand, you play this card from the hand. So you can use this to bounce your own pan back, or you can bounce your opponent's pan if you're like, well, I don't really need it on their field anymore, I need to play this out so I have a blocker in the turn. So, bam, there we go. And you just get 24 meat shield. Like I said, it doesn't really see much play because you're ideally playing out Piccolo blockers to enable your effects. And we've got our 8 costs for this deck. And to start with, we've got our Beast Han. I'm so glad it's Beast Han. So this has got 30k dual attack, alternate 1, if you have the special beam cannon in play. So this card. When this and your opponent let me start. If you have the special beam cannon in play, when this is attacking and your opponent activates a counter skill, you choose their lead and give it -5 for the turn. So because it's dual attack, this is really useful because it means on like the first attack they might activate a counter, so your next attack they've gone down by 5k, and you know that sure they could counter again, but you've already got one out and you've minus their power. And it's got active main, limit 1, paying 2 red. If the leader is Red Saint and you have 4 more energy, you play this card from your hand and choose one of your opponent's back cards and give it -30k for the turn. So even though it's an 8 cost, you're only paying 2 because you are Red Saint. And it's just going to go in Red Saint decks, let's face it, because it's just a nice pressure unit. If you have the inherited special beam, even better. If not, you just have a 30k dual attacker that kills something on entry. So, really useful. And our last card of the deck, which is a nice little surprise thanks to the anniversary, is the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Because it was guaranteed, even though we thought it would be like some random pull. So we have a nice Vegeta secret rare. So gets dual attack if you've got 25 more on the drop. It's got ultimate deflect, triple strike, 40k power. Active main, paying 4 red. You play this card from your hand and you may have your opponent's leader get -5 for the turn. And an active main removes cards from the game. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards and uses, ignoring barrier. Place them in their owner's drop. Then place 1 card from your opponent's life in their drop. So Vegeta just comes in, is a big 40 triple, and then after it's done its thing, you just send it and basically remove your opponent's board. If you don't have Vegeta, you can probably run some other secret rares, or you can just up numbers. I did have 3 copies of Focus Barrage originally, but then when I got this I was like, yep, that's going. But because it's from the anniversary, it's not that expensive, so you could easily get hold of it as well. It's just really useful to have, and it's just nice. So with all that being said, that is my red Gohan or Beast Han deck profile. As always, let us know what you think in the comments below, hit the sub button, and we'll see you next time. Bye!